Okay, good morning, everybody. My name's Rachel, and I'm a higher education champion. I work for an organisation called Take Your Place. Now, our role as a higher education champion is to support young people with thinking about what it is they would like to do after school and also after college or sixth form. So we really are about supporting you with your next steps and making sure that you've got all the right information to be able to make well-informed decisions about what you might like to do when you get older. So I thought I'd just give you a little bit of background on what I did and how I went through my educational journey, because I think it's important that you are aware that for a lot of people, university is accessible, even if you think you might not necessarily be academically gifted like other people that are in your classroom. So while I was at school, I was always I found school a little bit difficult. I always worked really, really hard, but my sister got all of the academia. So what I knew about myself was that I would have to work really hard to be able to achieve my ambition, which was ultimately going into university. I always wanted to go to university, but I never thought that I'd be able to get there. But with hard work and being able to focus my skills, I was able to get to that point. So I'm going to talk you through this event this morning. I'm going to talk you through why we do the event, the importance of the event. But before I do, we're joined today by a student ambassador who is based at the Chelmsford campus. I'm going to pass you over to her. Mariam's going to introduce herself and tell you a little bit about herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mariam, and I come from Lebanon. It's a far country, but I'll be talking about that later. And I am studying my PhD in early childhood education. I also did my master's here at ARU. Lovely to be here with you.
Thank you, Mariam. Mariam is a very successful student, but also a really successful student ambassador of ours as well. She's been working with us as a team for a very long time, and she's supported us in many different ways. She'll talk a lot more about her experience. The other thing I want to make sure that you're aware of is that your teachers will have got a booklet, a kind of electronic digital booklet that I would have shared with them. Now, it's not crucial that you have that now, because I appreciate you won't necessarily have a laptop or a phone to hand. But what would be great is if after this event, perhaps what you can do is reflect on that booklet. There's some really useful tools in there that can help you to focus a little bit more on maybe where you want to be and some of the things that you might like to do in the future. And there's lots of links and videos and kind of cool stuff to get involved in. So what I would suggest you do is maybe after the event, if you haven't had that from your teacher yet, because they haven't had a chance to share it with you, maybe just remind them and ask them to send that booklet over. So what is Eyes on the Prize all about? So Eyes on the Prize traditionally is always run on campus. So we actually deliver it on campus, but for obvious reasons, over the last couple of years, we've had to host Eyes on the Prize virtually. The first time we did it virtually, unfortunately, it had to be pre-recorded, but this time at least we've been able to deliver it live, but using Teams. So the idea of Eyes on the Prize is to help you think about your next steps. So the important thing at this stage is that you start to think about, okay, so when I become an adult, what is it that I might like to do? Now, for some people, you might be thinking, do you know what? I know exactly what I want to do. I want to be a paramedic, or I want to be a police officer, or I want to be a teacher. And that's great. You've got your aim. But for some of you might be thinking, oh, I really don't know what I want to do. And I was the same as you when I was your age. I didn't know what I wanted to do. But the one thing I did know about myself, and I still know about myself, is that I'm a sociable person, and that my role in life, even when I was 14, 15, was very much a people person. I had, a few groups of friends, so I wasn't a quiet person. And I knew that what I wanted to do was be involved with people. And I didn't think that a job that required me to work on my own was going to be right for me. So it's about thinking about what type of learner you are and what type of person that you are. So think about that at this stage. If you're not entirely sure what it is that you want to do, ultimately, when you become an adult, think about what type of person am I? What type of learner am I? What can I bring to society as an individual? What I always encourage people to do is have a think about working backwards. So if you've got an idea of where you want to be, work backwards and think, okay, so I know I want to be an engineer, for example. So how do I become an engineer? What are the steps that I need to take to become an engineer? The first step would be to do a degree. So that's the most immediate thing to become an engineer. Then you would go on to college or sixth form to do your A levels or do a further education course, and then you're back down to the point you're at now, which is where your GCSEs come in. We also, through this event, tried to emphasise the importance of GCSEs and the importance that you do well in your GCSEs in order to aid you in those next steps in your career. Very often, careers that you might like to go into require you to have certain levels of GCSEs. So again, what I would suggest you do, and if you haven't already done it in school, is to think about, okay, so if I want to become a doctor, for instance, what GCSEs do I need to get? Because there are quite strict requirements to become a doctor. Not unobtainable for some of you, but just quite strict. So it's well worth doing that research now. I always encourage people to think about what you're good at. It's no good picking a subject that you've been told to do that actually you don't like. And if you don't like it, there's a high chance that you're not going to be good at it. So I did a course at university called criminology. Some of you in class probably thinking, oh, I think I know what criminology is. So criminology is the study of crime. So it's why people commit crime, not necessarily in terms of what's going on in their brain, but perhaps what's going on around them, the society, their upbringing, how their family was, what sort of friends did they have, where do they live? All of those things can impact people's decisions to do good things or to do bad things. What chances did they have? And I chose to do that at university because I was really interested in it. And what I thought I was going to do and what I thought I'd be doing now was be a police officer. Now, I did a couple of shifts as a police officer. It turns out I didn't like it. I didn't like being a police officer. But the bit I loved about being a police officer and volunteering was that I got to engage with young people, and that's the bit I really liked. So that's where I focused my attention, and that's how I've ended up working in the education area and working as an outreach person, really, somebody that supports young people with thinking about what they want to do. So this event really is to support you with thinking about what it is you might like to do. Now, I'm going to move now onto the timetable because I'm running out of time, and I want to now show you how this all connects. Okay, so we're going to talk about how you go through the next stage of your education. How does the event support you with doing that? So after I finish speaking, Mariam's going to take over and she's going to show you around Anglia Ruskin University virtually. So she'll share her screen and she's going to show you around the university. She's then going to talk about her life as a current student. So that way you get to understand what university is like. Then we'll have a short break, and then we'll have a section where you get to hear from a couple of further education providers. So what I mean by further education is the next step after school, so after secondary, whether that's sixth form or college. Then you'll get to hear a little bit more about Anglia Ruskin University, and you'll also get to hear about University of Essex as well. So both very close universities to you. Then we'll have another short break, and then you get to hear about apprenticeships. So we're trying to cover all bases, look at different areas. Okay, Mariam, I'm going to stop talking now because I've run over time a little bit. So if you are happy to deliver your two sections, you have until 9:45, Mariam. So then they'll have the break. Is that okay?
Yes, of course.
Lovely. Okay, I will
just
mute myself now.
So
let me stop presenting mine, Mariam. That's it. Oh. Cool. I think it's worked. It's worked. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Mariam, and I'll be showing you our Chelmsford campus of ARU. This is the main building where you first enter the university. So let's say that you come from the main entrance, and then we're gonna go inside. So this is where you would find the reception, and if you had any questions that like you were lost or you needed to go somewhere, you just ask the reception people here. In the main building, people who are studying business and finance study here, and we have a room called Bloomberg Financial Markets Lab, and it's where the people can look at the money all over the world, and this is where the lectures take place, and those are the computers that the students can work on. Then if we leave this place, we're going to go to the university's library. And library. Our university's library is very big, and if you look up, you will find that we have 3 floors. It has more than 250,000 books and materials online, and you can access all different types of books, journals, articles, magazines on campus or online as well. You have the printing services, you have laptop loans where you can borrow a laptop and use it while you are studying. And if you choose to sit on the ground floor, this is like a place where you can be speaking to your friends. But then if you go higher up, then you are supposed to be a bit quiet just so that you can focus on your studies more. When you are a student at the university, you have something called a lecture, and a lecture is kind of like a classroom, but it's a bigger classroom. So I'm going to show you an example of a lecture theater where you can have a lecture at the university. This is an example of what a lecture theater looks like. This is where students sit, and this is where the supervisor or the teacher at the university, the lecturer, stands and gives the lecture. If any one of you is interested in studying engineering, they would be studying in a building called Marconi Building. So this is the main building called Lord Ashcroft Building. If anyone wants to do engineering, they would be studying in the building called Marconi. And Marconi is a person who invented the radio, and this is why this building is called after him. In Marconi Building, we have a mechanical engineering workshop, and this is where you would be trying out things, doing experiments that are related to your course. And of course, when you come into this place, you have like safety shoes, and you have to put the protecting glasses and wearing a coat as well. Anyone interested in studying law, they would be studying in the main building again. And we have something called a mock law courtroom. A mock courtroom. So let's say I wanted to become a teacher, so I had to pretend that I was teaching in a room that was designed for that. If anyone wants to become a lawyer or wants to do something that has to do with law, this is where they would have some of the classes as well. This could be a classroom and also could be like a courtroom. So they would pretend that they are the judges here, or they can pretend that they are watching a session taking place in court. Now we're going to move to the students who would like to study medicine. So if any one of you is interested in studying medicine, want to become a doctor, you would usually be studying in the School of Medicine. And most probably you would be studying in here. You would have some classes in the anatomy lab. It's a really practical course. So it's not only that you have to sit in a lecture and attend the lecture, it also has some interaction and some practical experience. You pretend that you have someone sick here, and then you have the anatomy lab, which shows you all the different parts of the body and makes you study that as a medicine student. Because when you become a doctor, you need to know all the body parts, and you need in order to treat the people that you might have. And also we have something called the super lab. And the super lab is where you can also study like the medicines, and you can have some experiments as well. All of those computers are for students, and the lecturer usually sits at the back of the class. And I think that this class holds around 50 students or more. So it's really a quite huge classroom. Moving on, if any one of you wants to become a nurse, you would study in a building called William Harvey Building. And in William Harvey Building, you have in William Harvey Building, if any one of you wants to become a nurse or a midwife, this is where you would be studying. You have the chance of playing with those dummies, not really playing, like studying using those dummies. So you would learn all about the mom and her daughters or sons, let's say, and pretend that you are helping them, and you pretend that you are an actual nurse. And this will help you know whether or not you want to do this when you finish and graduate from your course. You don't want to finish a degree in like 3 or 4 years and then just realizing that you do not like that. So they give you an opportunity to start with that at the university before you actually go to the working place. So university is not only about studying and is not only about classes. We also have loads of activities and things that students can enjoy their time in, and they can just go and sit with their friends at. And we have a place called 92, and this is in a building called Tyndall Building. I'm gonna take you there and show you. This is 92. It's closed here in the tour, but that's usually open. They serve food here. You can sit with your friends. They usually have movie nights. So they have like a large screen here that they put. We have pool, and we have different activities that take place in 92. And this is where students can come and sit with their friends to study or to just sit and chat, really. We also have like a mini cafeteria here that serves hot and cold food as well. They have breakfast and so on. So this is one general area where also not only movie nights take place, they also have some pumpkin carving activities, let's say, during Halloween that took place. And there are loads of societies that you can sign up if you are in the student union. So you can join a Harry Potter society, you can join a hot chocolate society, dancing society, singing society. So so many options that you have. Moving on, you can also join the gym at the university, and it's really cheap for students. It's only £13 a month, which is really cheap. You have different, you know, activities and machines for you to train with as a student. They also have classes, so the £13 does include the classes. So you have yoga, Pilates, spinning, which is on the bike. And Rachel, did you want me to show them somewhere else?
Yeah, do you mind, Mariam, can you show them one of the, I don't know if you did cover one of the large lecture theatres. You know, the space we call the Purple Palace. I can't remember how you get there from.
Is it
but
that?
Yeah, if you could show them one of the large lecture theatres, that'd be great. Yeah, that would do. Yeah, perfect.
So I did show them the one in Michael Ashcroft Building, but that was not the largest one on campus. In Michael Salmon Building, we have the largest lecture theatre at ARU Chelmsford. And this place holds 400 students. Can you imagine? 400 students sitting in one classroom. And then this is where the lecturer or the teacher at the university stands. And they have a large screen as well. There's a camera here, if you notice. And the reason for that is that sometimes people who are doing nursing cannot all go together to the hospital. So what they do is they open a video call with the Broomfield Hospital, which is the local hospital, and then students get an opportunity to have a look at the schools that are there. I mean, not the school, sorry, the operation room that is there at the hospital.
Thank you, Mariam. I think what we'll do, Mariam, if you want to crack on with your student life, we might have a little bit of time to open the chat, perhaps for some questions. So maybe if you do your student life session now, and then we might have a bit of time before break for the students to ask you questions, perhaps.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just open that and open a new share. Just because I've been trying to have it here. Just a second.
If you have any issues, Mariam, I have got your presentation. So
yeah, I think I might need that because on this computer, the university's computer, it's not showing the pictures and some of the most important things. So if you want to share it, I would.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no problem. Give me a second and I'll just open your presentation.
The sound has gone quiet.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just concentrating, just finding your presentation. Right, here we go. So, make sure I pick the right one. Just give me a shout, Mariam, when you want me to go to the next slide. Can you see that okay?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, great.
So yeah, that's this is a presentation about what a student's life at Anglia Ruskin University is, and in specific, that's my idea of a student life here. If you wanna, oh, can I change from here, or I can?
You might be able to. I've just had a message come through saying that people can't hear. Let me just see if we get a response back. Okay. Before you continue. We can. Okay, so we've just had someone come back and say they can hear fine. Okay, perfect. And Nikki's come back as well. Yeah, no problem. Mariam, can you skip through the slides yourself?
I think I am able, yes. Nice. Can you see it?
Oh, it's not moving for me, but can other people see the slides moving?
We have lost volume.
So that might be, so whoever is year 9 guest, it sounds like it might be your end that you've got the sound issue, because I think others can hear. So perhaps just check your sound settings, your end, because I think everyone else can hear. Yeah, so we've just got another one saying that they can hear. Okay, Mariam, the slides just changed, so it looks like you're able to take control, and it's just come up with a message saying you've taken control. Do you wanna continue?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna be talking to you about who I am, and why did I study here, what it's like to study at ARU, a day in my life, and a little bit about independence. Rachel, if there's anything that you want me to talk about, just let me know.
I'll give you a shout, absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. So everyone, my name is Mariam Kirayim, and I am studying a PhD in early childhood education. This is my 5th year and hopefully the last year. I am from a country called Lebanon. A little fun fact about me, I have an obsession with salted caramel sweets. So anything that has salted caramel, you'll just find me buying it. Choosing my course. Why did I choose my course? I think the main reason for choosing it is because I wanted to become like my mom. My mom is an educational consultant. She works with different students from different backgrounds to help them go to university, what they want to choose. And I personally liked that bit of the education, but I just chose the younger children. This is why I'm doing early childhood education. And hopefully in the future, I want to become a lecturer. And this is why I am doing a PhD. This will allow me to teach at the universities rather than school. So what it's like to study at the university. First of all, you become independent. So I know that you're gonna have some freedom and you're gonna have some time for yourself. You're gonna know when to go to classrooms, when not to go to classrooms, but this gives you the responsibility of learning how to do things your own way, and it will give you some independence in the way of studying. So you just have to know how to, rather than the teacher telling you do this and do that, you do what you want. So you will probably do it without anyone even telling you to, asking you to do it. And this is one of the things that I like about the university, is that you choose a specific area and then you study that. But you also have, I'm gonna talk about them later, you have loads of activities, and it doesn't only have to be studying the whole time. So we have different teaching methods. We go to the classroom. Some students have practical experience as well. If they wanted to become nurses, teachers, doctors, they don't only have a lecture where they sit and listen to a lecture. They also can go to the hospital and they can have different teaching method and try on actual things, or becoming an engineering and having experiments and so on. We have loads of resources, and you learn that when you are at the university. And we have, let's say, the library, student services, student support. If you needed to talk to anyone, we have loads of things that you can use at the university. A day in my life. So these are some pictures that I have from the things that I cooked, let's say. Because I am doing a PhD is above the master's level, we do not have formal classes. So I don't go to a class and say, hi everyone, and I have friends who are sitting with me in the classroom. I only have to meet with my supervisor, who is my teacher as a PhD student. And then I talk to her. And usually I go with my friend who's in the picture with me. And we usually meet, let's say, once a week, twice a week, depending on her availability. And this gives me time later to go to the library, study, go to the gym sometimes, not really, and try to cook something new, because I never knew how to cook before I come here. So I learned how to make very good food and very good salted caramel sweets, I would say. So what is the student life? When you move to university, you have loads of things that you would enjoy, I would say, and you would try. So as a student at Anglia Ruskin, or as a student at this university, first of all, I had to come from my country, which is a different country, and I just had to adjust to the new environment. But I did have different flatmates because I lived at the student accommodation. So I had people from Africa, from Russia, from India, from different parts of the world where you can just meet them. You can join societies. There's Harry Potter Society, hot chocolate, the ones that I was telling about in the campus tour. You can join the gym. You can go have a night out. And we usually have events with the Students' Union. So in this picture, this is the flag of my country, Lebanon. And we had something called Global Week, where almost everyone can showcase their country and talk about it. And we chose to have like some food and some dances that are from my country. Accommodation and moving away from home. I had to move out from my country again, as I was telling you. So it was a bit hard for me at the beginning to adjust to a new country, to adjust to a new place. But I was living in the student accommodation. So it's similar to the halls of residence that is for the university, where this gives you a chance to meet people and be close to the university. And there's always people that will be able to help you as a new student to talk to others and to mingle and have like events and fun things to do. The first few weeks as a student, when you first join, there's something called Welcome Week. And in Welcome Week, there's plenty of activities they introduce you to. sports events. They introduce you to the societies, they introduce you to your classes and to the academic parts where you have study support and so on. And you also have the freshers fair where everyone just goes around and there's free food, lots of it. Also, when you are a student, you do have loads of student discounts in restaurants and shopping places, and they just give you an opportunity to get involved at the university, and they give you a chance to become an ambassador, let's say, because I am an ambassador. Those are our new hoodies, and this is the old one. So that was my friend here that we used to work together. And working at the university also gives you a chance to earn some money and make some new friends, and it's all flexible according to your time. My future after graduation, I am not going to lie, I do not know what my future will be holding. So this is when I finished my master's from here, and my initial plan was to continue my PhD. And now that I'm doing my PhD, I just know that I want to become a lecturer. But in case this changes, it's okay, because when you finish and you study for a while, you just need some time to figure out what you want to do after that, after university. Thank you. Feel free to ask any questions.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much, Mariam. I've got a couple of things that I just want you to talk a little bit more about. Just thinking about the age of these guys. If you can take yourself back to when you were kind of 14, 15 years old, what bit of advice would you give these guys? What would you say is the important thing for them to keep in mind at the age that they're at now?
So really at their age, all I thought about was joining the university, just because I wanted to have, you know, when you finish school and you want to move out, or when you want to become independent, personally speaking, I just wanted to get away from the school and then go to a more formal, higher level education. I'm not sure if that would be the same thing that they would think about.
No, that's fine, Mariam. Thank you. Yeah, that's perfect. So you at sort of 14, 15 were quite driven towards going to university. That was something that you were always kind of set on doing.
I did have some friends that did not want to join the university because they wanted to do more practical things, but most of the courses that they were looking at needed a degree from the university, and this is why they were pushed into doing it, and eventually they like found it useful.
Okay, thank you very much. Would you mind explaining, because I think for some of the students, they're probably wondering, because you've been at university quite a long time and you're a PhD student, they might be wondering how you get to that point, because when you finish your PhD, Mariam, you're going to be a doctor, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'll be a doctor. So can you explain the journey that you've taken to get to that point in terms of your educational journey?
Okay. So first of all, I'm a bit, I finished everything back to back. So usually when people finish, it really depends. Computer science degree. Yes, we do have computer science degree.
Yeah, we do. We certainly do. Yeah, we have quite a few different computer-based courses. And what I would suggest, whoever was asked that question, what I would suggest you do when you get your booklet, it's very easy. There's a link there that will take you through to the Anglia Ruskin course page. It specifically takes you through to the course page, and you can scroll through and have a look at the different courses that are available at ARU. So yes, we do a lot of kind of computer-based courses. The other thing to keep in mind is there's 2 ARU campuses at the moment. There'll be a third one very soon, but there's a campus in Cambridge, and then there's the Chelmsford campus as well. And some of the courses that run it will be slightly different at each campus. But yeah, we do lots of computer-based related, and even computer games is a big area for us as well, particularly in Cambridge, because the gaming industry in Cambridge in particular, there's quite a few gaming companies based in Cambridge, so it's quite a big area for us. But yeah, as I said, based in Cambridge, which is not too far from you guys. It's only about an hour and a half. It's not that far. Sorry, Mariam. Karen, talk about your kind of journey a little bit, if you wouldn't mind.
Yes, of course. So when I finished from my undergraduate degree, when I finished from the school, I knew that I wanted to become a teacher in the school for little children, and I needed to do a degree in early childhood education. So I graduated from my school. We have something called the official exams back home, similar to what you guys have, but it's just a bit different in my country. So I passed those exams. And then when I moved to the university, it was a bit different because we had more freedom. We were doing the topic that we wanted. So don't worry about choosing the course at the university. As long as you know, as Rachel was saying, when you know that this is something that you want to do, you'll be brilliant at it. So I finished my early childhood education degree, undergraduate degree from Lebanon. And when I finished, I wanted to continue my master's just because I wanted, in the school that I was working at, they wanted teachers to progress in their education further. So my dad was suggesting I come to England to study, to travel. I didn't want to do that, to be honest, at the beginning, just because I did not want to move away from my parents, and I just found it a bit difficult and hard for me to leave my country and my friends and everyone that I know. But eventually I liked the course and I liked the university. When I was reading about it, you just go online, you have videos, you can choose the university that you want. And then when I applied, I just got into my master's. When I was doing my master's and I was about to graduate, I was wondering what I want to do next, because would I want to work with my degree? Do I want to continue my education? What do I want to do? So what I did is go back to Lebanon, to my country, and I applied for jobs. When I applied for jobs, I was teaching in a school, and I taught in that school for like 6 months, because it was just like half of the time, because I was late to leave England. And then when I was applying to universities, because I wanted to become a lecturer like my mom, I was not accepted, because to become a doctor at the university, to teach at the university, you need a degree called the PhD, which will give you the doctor's name. And this is why I chose to come back to England, come back to Anglia Ruskin to do my PhD.
Thank you, Mariam. That's really, to be honest, I wanted to know that as well, because we've worked together for such a long time that I wasn't entirely sure kind of your journey. And it's really interesting for these guys to also meet someone that has embraced higher education in such an effective way. It's really important. But for just so everyone knows in class, that the majority of the students that we work with as a team will be called undergraduate students. So generally, but you can go to university at any age, but the majority of people go to university straight after sixth form or college. So as a student ambassador, generally our students that we work with are undergraduate students, so they are just starting at university, and they're generally, a degree lasts 3 years, but there are other degrees such as medicine that require a more time to study to become a doctor, because a doctor of medicine, because there's obviously a lot involved in doing that. So we've got 4 minutes until the break. So let's if teachers, you wouldn't mind popping in any questions into the chat that your students might have. Maybe let's take the last kind of 4 minutes or so just for Mariam to help with any questions that you've got. And if no questions come through, I'm armed with more questions, Mariam, so I'll just fire away at you.
Yeah, do that.
Okay, maybe I will ask you questions while we wait for people to. I'm sure there's lots of teachers in classes going. If you've got any questions, oh, here we go. How many students usually share a room in student accommodation?
You don't share a room, you share the facilities that they have. So let's say I lived in a place where I was sharing with 5 other people, but I had my own toilet. It was an ensuite. So usually 5 Sometimes there's 3-bed flats and you have 2 other flatmates. So usually 3 to 5. About tuition fees, it's different for international students than it is for English people. Do you want to?
Yeah, so tuition fees are around sort of at the moment they're sort of £9,250 ish. So that is the maximum amount that universities can charge as a tuition fee. Now there are sometimes changes to that amount of money. There's always discussion about whether that's too much or not enough. But I think the key thing for you guys in class to keep in mind is that you don't have to have that money up front. So you don't have to rock up with £9,000 in your bank account each year. It doesn't work like that. So you borrow money through an organisation and you pay back when you finished university. You pay back that money that you've borrowed to go to university. But the repayment scheme is hugely different to what it would be like if you'd borrowed money from, say, a credit card or you'd got a commercial loan. It's a very sensible repayment scheme, and instead of it coming out of your bank account, it comes directly out of your salary. So when you guys start working, you get a pay slip, and on that pay slip you've got several outgoings before the money even goes into your account. So many people like to think of student finance as a tax, and that's exactly how I think about it. I have an outstanding student loan and we see it as a tax. So you're just paying back the fact that you have gone and educated yourself and given yourself that opportunity to increase your chances of having a good career and being able to look after yourself as you get older and have everything that you want, really. So it's the cost of the tuition fee is each year as well. There's another question there, Mariam. What kind of societies are there? You touched on that a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah, so also there are loads of societies at the university that I see, the Salsa Society, and there's plenty of societies. But what I want to mention is that if you wanted a society that was not at the university, you just need 2 other people, so 3 in total. 3 students can create their own society. And this is why we have a hot chocolate society, let's say. People were like, we like hot chocolate, let's have a society for that. And the university provides them with an opportunity to open their own society. We have a karaoke society as well. They usually do events for that. Are there any public services? That's for you, Rachel. But that, yeah, I mean, that's really it. We have dancing, Harry Potter. What else? What do you have in Cambridge? There's loads.
Yeah, gaming society is a big one. Tabletop gaming society is a big one. So like board games, that's another big one. Basically, anything that you're into and you think, you know, other people are probably into this, like, I don't know, Game of Thrones. There was a Game of Thrones one, but obviously that series is finished now. But there was a Game of Thrones one. So if people are into stuff, the likelihood is that there's going to be a society that you, like Mariam, you can start that particular society if there's enough of you that are into it. Last question before we go on a break then. Public services degree. We don't do a public services degree anymore, but we do degrees that are very much focused on having a career in the police force. So I understand. So public services you can do at college level, which is what I did at college. So I did a public services or uniform services level 3 diploma. But you can do courses that have really focused on policing. So you can do a degree apprenticeship in policing, which we'll talk about at the end of the event, but also you can do criminology like I did, but there's also policing degrees as well. So very much down the kind of policing route if you want to go into that particular area. Okay, we're going to stop there and let you guys have a break because we're a minute over. So go and have a break, and then we will return here at bang on 10 o'clock. And then from 10 o'clock, we'll start our sessions with the different providers that are going to talk to you about what they have on offer and why you should think about going on to their organisation. So Mariam, if you want to stop I'll stop presenting. I realise I've got your presentation up. So everybody go and have a bit of time to chill, do what you need to do, and we'll return here at 10 o'clock.
Thank you so much.
Mariam, you can sign off now.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Hi, Adrian. I can see you've just joined us. We'll get started again at 10 o'clock.
All good.
All right,
I'll get
thanks.
10 minutes.
Yeah, just 10 minutes, yeah.
Right, all good.
Just so you know, we're recording. So if you want to just mute your camera and mic just for now until you start your presentation.
Yeah, that's no problem at all.
Thank you very much.
I'm quite happy to. I don't think there's really questions built into this, but if you do want to ask any, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I think they might be having a bit of a break in class at the moment, so you might not find any questions come through at the moment, Adrian. But
no, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, thank you. Okay, welcome back everybody. We will get started promptly because each speaker has got quite a strict 10-minute window of time to use. So the first speaker for this section of the event is Adrian Frost from the Sixth Form College, Colchester. Adrian, I'm going to just stop presenting my screen. Are you happy to, have you got a presentation?
No, I'm just going to talk, I think.
Okay,
I might
cool.
put a picture in a minute.
Okay, no worries, that's fine. I'll stop presenting now.
Right, hello folks. I'd say it's good to see you, but I can't see you. I guess there's a little bit of a contrast now. In that you've had all those. I watched this morning. You had all those lovely walkthroughs of all those of the gym and the lecture theatre at Anglia Ruskin and things like that. And now it switches to a strange bearded man in a dark room.
Sorry, Adrian, just 1 second. Sarah Jane, you've shared your screen. Are you able to? Thank you. Okay, sorry, Adrian. Do you want to continue?
No, that's okay. That's fine. It's the perils of teams. It's a difficult business, isn't it? Right. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk for 10 minutes. I'm from the Sixth Form College, Colchester. So for lots of people who are thinking about maybe that journey, about some of the things they've seen this morning, about moving on to universities, and I know there are people who are going to talk to you about apprenticeships and all sorts of other things. We are, I guess, part of that step to that, on to that sort of world for people. And so we're meant to be like a little bit of a bridge, something between what you're doing now and what you might do in the future. In a nutshell, people come to us, normally, they come when they're 16. So they come from school and they spend 2 years with us, and then they move on, and they might move on to university, or they might move forward to an apprenticeship. Sometimes they don't know at all what they're going to move on to, but they come to us and they mostly do A-levels. Let's see if this works. I'm going to open I'm going to try and show you just a little bit of a presentation. Let's see if I can do it. I opened it, so I don't know if that's going to work. I don't think it is, so let's not worry about that too much. All right, I'm not gonna. I would have shown you a picture of the college, but that's fine. The picture I would have shown you would have been some people doing some work in a classroom. What we do is something a lot like what you do now and what you will do over the next couple of years. You know what the day's like and what it's going to be like as you go into 9, 10, 11 those years. That sort of routine of, right, well, let's do page 7 by the end of the lesson. Let's divide into groups and talk about this. Let's, what's your answer to question 9? Write up your essay for homework. You've got a test next Thursday. All that kind of routine of learning in classrooms with a teacher. That's what we do. So it might be a little bit different. It might be in style a little bit more like a university setting, the sort of things you've been talking about this morning. But basically, the people who come to us are people who are saying, that thing I've been doing, that thing I'm going to do at GCSE, actually, that's okay for me. I like that sort of learning. I'm going to do a little bit more in a classroom. I'm going to carry on, and I'm going to see where that goes. Now, you'll have things that I'm sure you've got subjects now that you like, and ones you don't like, and ones you feel you're good at, and areas where you've got your strengths. So of course you have. We've all got that, and I think that carries on as people come through to us. People will come and they will come to us and they'll do maybe some things that they liked at school. They'll do their history or maths or science or whatever it is that they liked at school, or maybe they'll pick up something new. Many people who come to us will study criminology, for example. It's a big new thing for people, and they'll come and they'll do 3 subjects, and they'll say, well, I'll do history and I'll do maths, but I'll do criminology as well. That's going to be my 3 subjects that I do. And they do it in a way that's pretty similar to the sort of thing that you're doing now and that you're going to do as you go through your GCSE. So if that's a comfy process for you, you might want to carry that on with us. And many people will carry that on, and then they'll move on to as I said, to universities, to employers and so on. I'll talk a tiny little bit about that in a minute. I'm conscious I'm already about halfway through. I think one of the things that people talk to us about is, I talk to students and they're very clear what they want to do in some cases. They say to me, I'm going to be a vet, I'm going to be a physiotherapist, you know, I'm going to go on and be a journalist or whatever, and they've got that plan. And there are some things, you know, if you want to be a vet, you've got to think quite hard about the subjects you're good at, what you do at A level and things like that. There are many people, probably more people, who have absolutely no idea what they want to do. And one of the things that I say to them is, I think it's important that there will be people who just don't know, and I think that's okay. I think that a good goal, a good thing to say if people ask you that question is to say, when I'm 16, I'm going to have a good set of GCSEs, and you know what I'm going to be? I'm going to be a person with choices. When the moment comes, and I'm going to look at Anglia Ruskin and Essex and universities, and I'm going to look at jobs and employment and apprenticeships and things like that, and I'm going to be a person with choices. I don't know what their choices are going to be, but I'm going to be a person with choices. And again, at 18, I don't know if I'm going to university or not, but it's a thing I'm going to think about, I'm going to keep my eye on. And again, at 18, if I've got some good passes, I've got some good choices. And I think often, you know, I teach religious studies. Most of the people that I teach aren't going to go on and become priests, in the same way that the people who do film studies aren't necessarily going to go on and become film directors. Some will, but many will put that qualification on the table, and they'll talk to colleagues at Anglia Ruskin, at Essex, in apprenticeships. They'll talk to employers, and they'll put it on the table, and they'll say, I was clever enough to get that, and I think, oh, you know, I'm clever enough to do the things you want me to do. I've got some skills there. Look, I've got this, you know, I've got this lovely A level in RE and so on. So it's not even the case that everything you have to do has to, you know, really precisely knot in with a career plan. But I think you do, of course, you need to think about these things. You know, if you want to be a vet, you need to do some sciences and so on. But if you're not so sure, I would say do things that you enjoy, that make make your soul sing. And those things you can go on and will give you choices in life. And one of those choices, you know, I would hope will be us, that you might think, well, maybe I'll go to Sixth Form College, Colchester. And it's a bit like moving on to university. It's not quite the same. We're trying to move people on. There are some bits of university. So, for example, we don't have uniforms. You call all your teachers by their first name. And so that's one thing. But at the same time, I think maybe we're a bit more like school in the way our timetable works and the way our day and our lesson works than maybe some of the sort of things that you would see at a university. I'm conscious. I'm going to keep to time on this. I know I've only got 3 minutes left, and so I'm going to talk to you just very briefly about some advice about things like entry criteria and things like that. We want to see people who've had a good go at their GCSEs. And so I think it's important you look at all of your GCSEs. As I say, it's important you become a person with choices. So I think, you know, the general plan, we can talk details later, and I'm sure we will as we go through the next couple of years. But the general plan is do as well as you can in everything. Give yourself some choices. They do matter. I think it's easier to get rid of a tattoo than it is to get rid of your GCSE grades. So it is something to think about. Right? But across the piece, do as well as you can. Try to be open to everything. You know, I mean, like, for example, there are people who say to us, oh, I'm going to talk, maybe I'll be a marine biologist. Maybe I'll work with, you know, animals in the sea and so on. An important part of that is actually that we would like to see some math skills, because we'll need those if we're going to teach people biology. So, you know, we're in a position where all of these qualifications, they do matter. And I know I'm sure many people have said this to you already, but the job is to do as well as you can in all of them. The other thing I would say, if I could go back in time and give myself some advice about, you know, what I did and where I go and so on, is talk to your teachers. Be honest with your teachers about what you're enjoying, about what you're finding difficult, about where you might want to go, and they'll help you with that plan. And I'm sure as time goes on, you can come and talk to people like me, come and talk to us, and we'll sit and we'll have a look at Sixth Form. And as I say, it's all part of that process of you turning you into someone with choices. I think I'm done on time. I think I'm all right.
That's perfect. Thank you, Adrian.
It's good to see you folks, and I wish you luck. Have a good day, and I hope your studies go well.
Thank you very much, Adrian. That was great. Thank you. Okay, so swiftly over to Sarah Jane Eastdown from Chelmsford College. Sarah, you okay to make a start? Do you have a presentation or just you?
I do have something I can show because I did share my screen earlier, but I'll see how I get on. You might just want to hear from me, but I've got a little bit of a tour, so I'll have a chat and then I will share my screen and show the virtual tour if I have time.
Brilliant. Okay. Thank you very much.
That's
great.
Hi, so I'm from Chelmsford College. I work in the careers department, so I'm a careers advisor, and part of my role is to help students with next step decisions. So we go out to schools, we might come along to one of your schools on open evenings, and we talk to you about what you can do at our college. But while you're here, we have a really rich program because it's not just about your qualification. You do get to do lots of other things. So at our college, we do a BTEC program, which is slightly different to A levels, still equivalent if you're thinking about that level, but we also start at lower levels. So we have some courses on a level 1, a level 2. If, say, for instance, you're doing a course like construction, bricklaying, we do start those at a level 1. But if you want to come and do one of our academic courses like health and social care, we'd start that at a level 3. So it's a different kind of learning than GCSE. So it's very coursework based. There will be some exams, but we are more what's called vocational. So what we offer is we offer courses that are related to industry. So we have 2 sites. We have our Princess Row campus. So at Princess Row, we have things like engineering. We have quite a new engineering department, and you can do all different kinds of things. Like the engineering students are building a electric go-kart, so they race that around the country. We've got a brand new building that opens this year. That's our new carpentry suite. So we do carpentry, we do bricklaying, we do painting and decorating. We also have our own hair and beauty salon, and that's a working salon. So you would actually get to do that job and actually cut people's hair because we have people book in. We also have our own catering, and we have our own restaurant, again bookable, so you get to really see what it's like to be in that industry. Over at our Molsham Street campus, we do more of our academic courses. We have public services, so if you want to get into the police or you want to get into the armed forces. We have sport and exercise science, so you want to do things like physiotherapy. We're actually really lucky because we share the sports centre, Dovedale Sports Centre, so we have a really good sports centre. We also do things like health and social care. We've got a really upcoming and new media department where you can do things like photography, also gaming. We've built our own little studio so you can make films. We also have travel and tourism, so if you're interested in getting into the airports. We have IT, lots of different courses in IT and business. So we've got an array of different courses, but to come to us, you must almost have a little idea of what you want to do. So for instance, with an A-level study program, you can pick 3 or 4 different subjects, and that leaves your options open. With us, you're really starting to think about exactly what we want to do. But also within our courses, it isn't just about the study program, it's about extra add-ons. So for instance, everybody that's with us gets to go out into industry, so you get to go on placement. If you're in our high level level 3 courses, you do what's called an industry placement, where you would go out 1 day a week with an employer. We're also doing a new qualification called T levels, which is like apprenticeships on its head. Also, we have a really rich careers program that I support. So we have employers coming in talking to you. We have days where we get the universities in, we get students in from the universities to show you what you can do with your qualifications. So we try and make those qualifications really real for you. We also have a massive progression fair where we have about 80 stands, and we do lots of other things, trips out. So at the moment, I'm taking 2 groups of students out to the Excel Centre in London, where they're meeting lots of universities. In May, I'm taking another group of media students out to another university campus so they can see what they can do with their qualification. And we get lots of other people in to talk to our students directly. We do have use of that sports facilities, so we run a very rich curriculum on sports. So you can do basketball, you could do boxing, we have our own gym, all of which is free for the students. Badminton, squash, So there's a lot going on there. We have our own nursery. So if you're doing something like childcare, you could actually work in the nursery, and we have a big extended learning department. So there's a lot going on at Chelmsford College. We have open evenings. So if you want to come and have a look and have a tour, we have 5 of those on an evening. And also we have some groups of schools come in and go to things like our progression fair. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share the screen, and I'm going to show you a little tour so you can see exactly what it is like at Chelmsford College.
Sarah, we can't hear the sound.
Oh, can you
from
not?
the tour?
Okay.
No. When
Let's
if you
try.
look, yeah, you need to share your audio.
Okay, let me have another look at that. Let me get back on there. And technology is not. So if I go on to share.
Yeah, you should have an option to share audio
Yeah,
as well.
got it. Yeah,
You got that there?
Yeah, let's
so
try.
that's just
Shall we try that
again? Yeah.
Let's try that one now. Let me share my screen again, and then I will reverse what we've already seen.
Are you also able to expand the video?
I did try and do that. It didn't work, so I tried to do
No.
that. No, I see. Full screen. No, it says it's unavailable. So let me try.
Oh, okay. Okay. Unfortunately, we still don't have any audio.
Okay.
Right. Let me let me just see if I can get onto that for you and see if it helps that I'm the organizer. Right. So let me just see if I can navigate my way to that tour.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second, because it'd be good if we can see that. Chelmsford College. Okay. Our college. Will it be under the section Our College?
It's under news and events.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you go under replay events, it's there under.
Okay. Virtual, open.
Let's have a look. Let me just find it for you. It should be there. If you go under showcase events, just go under showcase events, information events.
Yeah.
There's a virtual tour on there.
So let me just play this now.
Thank
I'm just
you.
going to see if I can expand it as well.
Thank you. You're really helpful.
Right. Okay. So let me see if I can share this now. And I'm going to include computer sound. I'm just going to make sure I've closed my other windows. Okay. So let's give that a little bit of a go. Okay, tell me if you can hear this, Sarah.
Yep, I can hear it.
You'll find friendly faces at Princess Road, where you can choose from a full or part-time programme or an apprenticeship. We have working kitchens for hospitality and catering students to learn in, as well as the Princess Room restaurant, which is open to the public. You can work with real clients in our commercial Princess Hair and Beauty salons, getting hands-on experience, learning the latest professional techniques and using high-quality products. Our engineering and electrical workshops let you learn, build and test your practical skills so you're up to code and ready for work. In construction, you'll get hands-on learning, whether that's brickwork, carpentry and joinery or painting and decorating. Our Princess Road campus also has a well-stocked learning resource centre and some great space like the cafe and refectory, so you can grab a coffee or stop for lunch.
At our Moulsham Street campus, we have Dovedale Fountain Lodge and dedicated classrooms for our extended learning and special provision students. Our aim is to create a safe, peaceful and inclusive learning environment. We have bespoke facilities including sensory equipment, a fully equipped kitchen for our students to gain essential life skills, a pottery room to engage their creativity, and fully fitted changing rooms and ceiling hoists. We are so proud of our secret garden where learners can look after their plants, relax and enjoy the outdoor space.
You'll get a warm welcome at Molsham Street. You can work on assignments and get support in our assessment centre, access thousands of textbooks and resources in our Learning Resource Centre, and refuel in our cafe and refectory with hot and cold food when you need a break. You can experiment in our science labs and investigate in our forensics room. Develop your problem solving and communication skills on our business courses, and benefit from creative and educational settings in childcare. Our IT suites are ready and waiting for you, and our art, design and media block is fully stocked with specialist materials and commercial equipment. If you want to study travel and tourism, you'll like our cabin crew and specialist resources. On this campus, you can also study health and social care, public services and sport, and have easy access to the Dovedale Sports Centre, complete with a gym, squash courts, sports hall and dance studio.
Whichever subject you pick,
You can explore your options
Get free careers advice,
to learn what you love,
so you can
gain strong skills and industry recognised qualifications.
at Chelmsford College.
Thank you. And one thing
You're
I
very
did
welcome.
mention, one thing I did mention is we also have our own apprenticeships. So if you're thinking about getting into the world of work, you can look on our website for our apprenticeships, where we have direct links with employers and we work with many curriculum areas. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah Jane. That was great. It's worth putting the effort in to get that tour up as well. That was
I
great.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem at all. So I'm going to swiftly now pass over to, hopefully we've got Joseph Rayner here from the University of Essex. Joseph,
Hi,
are you
everybody.
able to join us? Hiya. Have you got
Yeah,
a
I'm gonna see if I can-
presentation, Joseph?
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can share my screen.
Right, yes, I can see it.
Cool, let's see if this works then. Great, okay. So I'm hoping you can see this Why Essex page, is that right?
Yes, we can see it, Joseph. Thank you.
Oh, cool, all right, everybody. Well, good morning. It's lovely to be here with you today. I'm feeling a little bit ill, so if I end up coughing or spluttering today, please forgive me. I'll just be a few minutes of your time. It sounds like you've had a really brilliant morning so far. But my name's Joe and I work at the University of Essex, and I'm here really to talk to you a little bit about why you might want to consider studying at Essex in the future. Obviously, going to university is a few steps away for you, but it's definitely no harm in thinking about where you might want to go or what you might want to study already. So first things first, you'll want to sort of have a look at what subjects you could study if you came to the University of Essex. So in the next slide I'm going to show you, I've got a load of our courses listed out. I'm going to set you a bit of a challenge. I want you to find at least one course that you think that you would enjoy studying if you came to Essex. Okay, so it's a bit of a challenge. Here's our courses. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds just to find a course that you think, if tomorrow you had to start at university studying a 3-year course, which one would you be most happy signing up for? And there might be some of the subjects on this list right now that you think, I don't really know too much about that. I don't know what that is. Maybe you want to make a note of that on a little notepad or mental note, just to do a bit of research on it later. Because some of these options obviously are a bit different to the GCSEs that you can take or will be taking in the next few years. Okay, great. So I'm imagining you're all sat there and you've got maybe a subject or a couple of subjects that you'd be interested in studying in your future. So I'll move us swiftly on. You've got your subject that you're interested in, but what else would studying at Essex offer you? So if you attend the University of Essex, yes, you'd be studying in England, and yes, you'd be studying in Essex, which might be home for you, but you'd also get the opportunity to meet people from all over the world. So on our Colchester campus, we have over 140 different nationalities represented. We have students and staff from all over the world. Specifically, some of our teachers come from lots of different places across the world to come and teach at Essex, and they're leading in their field of study, and they've got loads of brilliant experience to share with you. Roughly around 40% of our students are from outside of the UK. So if you study, work and live on our Colchester campus, you get to meet people from all over the world. And in many ways, studying at Essex would open the door for you to have a really international experience, which is definitely something that's going to build your skills and give you a different outlook on life. Okay. But an important question for you to consider is, will studying at the University of Essex help you get your dream job? Will it help you get to where you want to get to way in the future when you're thinking about work, which right now might feel like a long way away, but I promise you it will come around quite quick. So we've got lots of different options to help you get all of the employability skills and experience that you need to get you into the job that you want to have. And I'll talk you through some of those options that we have now. So we have a thing called study abroad, which enables you to go and, as part of your degree at Essex, go and study in a different country for a year. And so you might study somewhere in Europe. And that might also help you develop a new language that you could speak if you're studying in France, for example, or in Spain. Or you might want to study another English-speaking country, like somewhere like in the States, in America, or in Canada, or maybe even Australia. And that will enable you to study at another university, to gain a sort of access to people from a different part of the world, to build connections and make friends in a different part of the world. And that's really helpful if you know you maybe want to work in a different part of the world in your future. We also do work placements, things called years in industry, which is where you get, as part of your degree, to work in a specific job for a year. And that gives you a load of skills because you get hands-on work experience, which is part of your degree. And so that also helps you build some connections. And sometimes some students have gone on a year in industry, they've come back to Essex for a year to finish their degree, and then they've already got a job that they've secured with that company for when they graduate. So that's something to consider as well. We do lots of things like field trips and conferences and guest lectures from teachers from all over the world to give you the best insight and skills and knowledge needed for you to get to where you want to get to. There's also an opportunity for you to learn different languages on campus to sort of enable you to maybe go and work abroad if you wanted to in the future. And there's also loads of volunteering opportunities which you can make the most of on campus. Okay, so that's really important, but what about the sort of fun side of university? Well, we've got loads and loads of student societies. We've got over 100 student societies which you can join. And basically what that means is we've got societies that focus on food and language, faith, even Quidditch or Harry Potter or circus tricks, anything that you're interested in, we've pretty much got a society on it. And what that means is you can meet like-minded people to socialise with and to spend time sort of enjoying your hobby together. We've also got over 40 sports teams for you to join, everything from beginners to fairly, very advanced playing of that sport. There's options for you. We've also got advice and support. We understand that being a student can sometimes be quite challenging. So there's always people on hand to help you if you ever feel a bit overwhelmed. Okay, so I've got some of our sort of societies and our clubs up on the board now, and I'm going to give you another few seconds just to find 3 societies or 3 clubs that you would sign up for on day one if you attended the University of Essex. And obviously this is not all of them, these are just the amount that I could fit on the presentation slide. And there might be some things on here that you go, actually, I don't know too much about that, but I'd be interested in finding out more. And that's part of the joy of being a student and getting to meet people from different parts of the world and also to experience different things. Great. So I'm hoping you've got your 3 societies that you'd like to join. You've also got your subject that you're most interested in. But now have to think about where you might want to study. So we have 3 different beautiful campuses where you can live and study. And the first one I'm going to talk to you today is our Colchester campus, and this is a picture of it from air. You can see there's lots of green spaces. We've got our lovely lakes as well. If you enjoy nature and getting outside into a bit of greenery, then the Colchester campus might be the one for you. It's also our biggest campus, and so that's where most of our students are stationed. We also have our Southend's campus, which looks like this. There's some really great architecture around there too, and it's based in Southend. And then we have our third, but not least at all, our Loughton campus, which is home of our East 15 acting school. So if you're sitting in your classroom now and you're really interested in acting or performing or directing or producing or stage management, that might be the place for you. Talking about the arts, if you're creative and you're interested in the arts, there's lots of offers for you at the University of Essex. We've got a theatre on each of our campuses. We have loads of live music opportunities. We also have a cinema on our Colchester campus, which students can use. There's an art gallery as well. And there's also things like our newspaper, radio and TV station that you can get involved in as a student and gain hands-on experience of running. There's lots of societies as well. So if you just enjoy acting on the side, or maybe you enjoy stand-up comedy or things like that, there's lots of things that you can get involved in as part of our societies. If, however, you're more of a sports person, then you'll be glad to know we've got a state-of-the-art gym and we've got a sports arena, which is a £12 million investment. You can test yourselves on our climbing wall, or you can book out courts to play badminton or squash with your friends. Or maybe you want to play on the outside pitches, maybe you want to give American football a go, or rugby or football, whatever works for you. And there's clubs of all different abilities as well that are open to everyone. And if you're someone who's really, really brilliant at sport, then there's some opportunities for you as well to get sports scholarships, which basically mean you can get paid to attend the University of Essex. But here at Essex, we're big on supporting students with academic. Yeah, hello. Hello.
Sorry to interrupt. Are you able to start winding down? We've got one more speaker before the break, and the break is at 10:40. So you're able to start winding down now? Thank you very much.
Sure, I've got a couple,
sorry to rush you.
No worries at all. I was just going to mention, sort of before I close, that at Essex there's lots of academic and mental health support for students as well, including our medical centre on campus. In terms of accommodation, where you might want to live, there's lots of different options. So if you're someone who wants to live with other people in a flat, there's something for you. But also if you wanted to live at home and travel into the University of Essex, you could do that as well. And sort of finally, the last thing I wanted to mention is, well, you're about to do your GCSEs. So what sort of grades do you need to get if you want to study at Essex? And there's a sort of bottom line here of a minimum of 5 GCSEs at grade 4 or above, and that would include English, maths and science. But really our advice for all of you is to work as hard as you can, do your revision, put the hours in now and make sure you get the best grades you possibly can, and that will set you up perfectly for your future. So if anything today that I've mentioned has made you go, that's kind of interesting, I'd like to find out a bit more, you can always hop onto our website, which you can see the address of on the board. Or if you want to email us any questions that you have about studying at Essex or what you might need to get to study a specific course grade-wise, you can email admit@essex.ac.uk. But for now, I'll leave you in peace and hope you have a brilliant rest of the day.
Thanks very much, Joe. That's great. Thank you. If you're able to just stop sharing your screen, I will pass over to my colleague, Katie Price, who will be talking to you now about Anglia Ruskin University. I know you've kind of already heard a little bit from Marianne, but she's going to talk about some of the entry requirements and course options. So, Katie, over to you.
Thank you, Rach, and hopefully you can all see my screen. Welcome to ARU Chelmsford campus. Can you just confirm that, please, Rach?
Yes, I can see you. And if you wouldn't mind, if you could speak until just after 10:40, Katie, if that's okay. Thank you very much.
Cool. Okay, so firstly, good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for taking the time to join our lovely Eyes on the Prize event today. So my name is Katie. I work as part of the Schools and Colleges team at ARU. We are formerly known as Anglia Ruskin University. So some of you may have heard that name before. And the campus that I'm going to be really focusing on today is our Chelmsford campus, which is based in Essex. Again, some of you may be familiar with the location. So a little bit about Anglia Ruskin University first of all. We actually have 4 different campuses dotted around the UK. So the one that I'm going to be focusing on today is Chelmsford, but we also have a campus in Cambridge, Peterborough and also London. So overall, as a university, we have about 23,000 students. So that's a lot more than some of you will be used to at school. But that's really nothing to worry about. It's very diverse. We have students from across the world join us across our campuses. And it really is a community feel. So you will feel like part of the ARU family if you come and study with us. We offer a complete range of courses, so a lot of our students tend to study them over a 3 or 4 or even a 5-year period, depending on whether they study them full-time, which is very similar to a timetable like you're used to at school, or you can study them part-time. We're also we are the leading university provider in the UK for degree apprenticeships. Now, I know you're having a presentation about degree apprenticeships later on, so I won't delve too much into that. But that's something that we're very, very proud of here at ARU. And a lot of our courses actually offer students a placement year. So, for example, a lot of our students will be studying a 4-year course, and the 3rd year, they actually don't join us on campus. They are actually working with a company, and this can be within the UK or an international company for a whole year to get some real experience within an industry that they are really, really keen to work in. A lot of our students are also paid for their placement year as well, so a few extra pennies to help them through their course is always a good thing. So our Chelmsford campus in particular is located in Essex, and it's home to around 6,000 students. Now, when I say it's home to, a lot of those students will actually live on site with us. So most of our campuses have accommodation where students can choose to live with us. But if that's not for you, if you're fairly local to Chelmsford and you don't fancy, living away from home, then that's absolutely our students' choice as to whether they live on campus with us or whether they live at home with their parents or their guardians and choose to commute in each day. And you can see there in yellow on the slide, I have listed some of the courses that you will find on our Chelmsford campus. So it's things like business management and finance, engineering, a lot of the health professions such as nursing, and that includes adult nursing, child nursing, mental health nursing, midwifery, social work, criminal justice, and much more. So when you are looking at Anglia Ruskin University, it's very important that you note which courses are studied on which campus. So, for example, in Cambridge, we wouldn't offer things like midwifery, for example. The difference in courses, so this is really, really important, no matter what university you may be looking at in the future. University courses are divided into 2 different groups, and it is entirely your choice as to what group you would prefer to study. So the first of all is the traditional academic degrees. So these are things like maths, history, physics and English literature. So in this category are very similar courses to what you would be studying in school at the moment. On the flip side of that, we have what's called vocational courses or vocational degrees, and these are your much more hands-on practical degrees. I myself love working in the outdoors. I'm a very hands-on person, so I know that when I was choosing a university course, I went down the route of a vocational degree because that meant that I would be very much hands-on, excuse me, and there would be a lot more practical work rather than your traditional academic degree. So just think about the type of study that you would prefer as a student. And finally, entry requirements. So these are really, really important for you guys to note. These are what we would expect our students to have when they come to university. So generally, we ask for the following to be able to study at our university. So 5 GCSEs, grades 9 to 4, including English and maths. We also ask for something called UCAS points. Now, I know this won't be relevant for you for a little while because you guys are still school age, but it's just something to be aware of. So when you go from school to college or sixth form, there will also be another set of grades that you have to be able to get into university. But I don't want to confuse you at the moment. So like my colleagues have said, it's really, really important for you guys at the moment to just focus on your GCSEs and try to achieve those grades 9 to 4, including English and maths if you can. But there is extra support available for you at college and university. If you don't quite get the grades that you were hoping for, please don't worry, because there will always be additional support available to you to help you achieve your dreams. Okay, and just a quick top tip I've put at the bottom there, when you're looking at different courses, always look at the entry requirements for each specific course, because we may ask for different entry requirements depending on what course you are hoping to study. So for example, if you look at engineering, we may ask for only 2 GCSEs rather than 5, but other courses may ask for slightly higher requirements. So just make a note of that when you're looking at courses. That's me. So very whistle-stop tour of Anglia Ruskin University Chelmsford campus. Thank you so much for listening, and I really hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much, Katie. That was really interesting. Thank you. If you wouldn't mind just stop sharing your screen, I'm going to pop my presentation back up. Okay, everyone. So we again have got a short break. So if you would like to take 15 minutes or so just to do whatever it is that you need to do. So we'll reconvene back here at 10:55 for the last part of the event, where we will hear from Essex County Council and also one of my colleagues from Anglia Ruskin about degree apprenticeships. So I will see you in around 15 minutes. Okay, welcome back everybody. We will move quickly on so that we can stick to time. So I'm going to hand over to Sarah now, and she's from Essex County Council, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about the opportunities that are available at Essex County Council. Okay, Sarah, I can see your presentation, so you've shared that.
Excellent. Thanks ever so much, Rachel, and good morning, everybody. Yes, I'm here today to tell you a little bit about Essex County Council, and obviously a few bits and pieces along the way. So first of all, if my slide will work, there we go. So why Essex County Council? So Essex County Council, you've probably heard of us. We're one of the largest local authorities in the UK, and we support 1.4 million Essex residents. Everyone usually thinks of the council as someone who empties the bins and charges you council tax, but there's actually quite a lot of different areas of Essex County Council which I'd like to highlight to you guys today. So whether that's functions, we obviously have administration, marketing, IT, legal, finance, HR, environment and climate, country parks, customer service. We have so many different areas of the business, and it really is quite an interesting place to work because of all the different career pathways we have. Obviously within ECC, we want you to feel that you truly can have a career, and that starts at our entry level opportunities right through to our senior leadership positions. We're actually award winning as well. So the Entry to Work team recently won the Developing People Award at the Youth Friendly Employers site. So that's something for us to shout about too. So business areas within ECC. So there are 6 main business areas. So we have adult social care, Chief Exec Office, Children, Families and Education, Corporate Services, People and Transformation, and Place and Public Health. Hold on, I didn't mean to move my slide there. Sorry, I don't know why that just moved without me asking it to. Hopefully you can still all see my slides, sorry. So yes, sorry.
Yeah, we can still see them.
I love it. I love technical issues when I'm presenting. But yes, so we have lots of different areas within ECC, all of which we're promoting our entry level opportunities. So no matter what area of the business it might be that you're interested in, there's always going to be something for you within ECC. So this is a little bit of a slide about the Meet the Entry to Work team. So the Entry to Work team are new to ECC. We're established in January last year. You have Johanna, who leads up the team, and then myself and 2 other apprentices who work as part of the team. We develop entry pathways into ECC, and we're really passionate about helping people to join the organisation and look at our talent pipeline for the future. So our whole purpose is to look at these entry pathways and obviously promote Essex County Council to the generations of the future. So these are a few of our current pathways, and as I say, there are going to be more and more added over years to come, I do hope. Obviously apprenticeships is a big one and is becoming increasingly popular. We also offer inclusive apprenticeships for those with a learning disability or autism, which are essentially an apprenticeship but on a part-time basis, so it just goes on for a little bit longer. But apprenticeships are a large part of one of our entry options within ECC, and there's always apprenticeships on the Working for Essex site. The second pathway we've had recently is the Kickstart scheme. This is actually finishing very soon, so probably won't be any applicable to anyone here. Next, we have a work experience, which includes a virtual work experience, which we conducted last year for the first time. We have insight days, so we're going to have insight days for environment and climate, place and public health, and the legal department as well, so people can come along and actually find out more about those specific areas of our business. We have traineeships, which is a new programme for ECC this year. Traineeships are for those who don't quite have the qualifications for an apprenticeship, and we are running traineeships this year within our country parks. So the sites at Hadley and Great Notley will be operating traineeships, and they are within sort of agriculture, and obviously working in a country park, it's all the skills you would need, so it'd be scrub clearance, all those sorts of things, which is something a little bit different, and again you probably wouldn't think about that when you thought of Essex County Council. Next we have our graduate programme, so we have got quite a lot of graduate entry routes into ECC. So we have internships, we have placements, we also have programmes, short placements and an MBA consultancy. I won't talk to you too much about the graduate opportunities because obviously that's not quite relevant for you guys as yet, but obviously if it is something you're interested in, you can always find out more information on the Working for Essex site. Next, we have neurodiverse internships. So those are 8-week programs that run within various areas of the business for those with autism, and we provide different types of learning experience, which is a paid internship. Next, we have the Return to Work programme. Again, probably wouldn't be relevant to you guys. That's someone who is a career professional who's had a break for whatever reason, whether it's raising children, looking after an elderly relative, looking at being a carer, whatever it might be, who wants to return to that career. You can actually go back and we support them in doing that. And the last one is the Care Leaver programme. So we do have specific support in place if you've ever been in a care environment to obviously support you with applications and your career as well. So last year, as I say, we actually established the Entry to Work team in January last year, and we welcomed 191 individuals into ECC during that time, which obviously is quite a high number for our first year. So do GCSEs really
register? You need to get started.
Oh, hello. So do GCSEs...
Sorry, can the class that have just joined us, would you mind just switching your camera off? Thank you very much. Okay,
Excellent.
Sorry.
That's all right, don't worry. So do GCSEs really matter? Yes, they do. And I won't lie to you. I've actually personally worked in recruitment for just over 20 years, and yes, they will always matter, I think, is the key to that question. So it does depend on the level of role you're applying for, but most employers will look at your GCSE grades when shortlisting their applicants for interviews. A minimum GCSE requirement is required for certain roles. So they've got an example on here that for admin roles you may require your English and maths at grades 9 to 4. I always think of obviously like A to C, but obviously things changed since I was doing my GCSEs. We also have things like apprenticeships, and for apprenticeships, I mean, for example, our business support apprentices, which are admin based, you'll need to have functional skills level 2 by your endpoint assessment. So that would be sort of old school, obviously grade C or above in English and maths. So that's something that will have a knock-on effect to any sort of apprenticeship you wanted to do, if an apprenticeship is the option you would like to consider, for example. Lots of the apprenticeship standards have minimum requirements which are based around functional skills in English and maths. GCSE results also may be taken into account if an applicant has limited employment or volunteering experience on their CV. So obviously, once you have 20 odd years experience, people don't necessarily look back on your GCSEs too much and in too much detail. However, English and maths is always something that people will ask for, no matter how much experience you have. But obviously, if you don't get the GCSE grade you're hoping for, don't panic. There are always other options. You can always resit exams, but there's also things like a traineeship or an apprenticeship route that you can actually work whilst you're studying as well, if that's something you wanted to do. But I definitely can't stress enough how important that maths and English GCSE are. Above all else, that's the one that your employers will ask for as you work throughout your career. So why is education so important for your career? So I've got a few quotes here from a few of our staff.
Thank you, people.
So, I'm not sure who that is. So we'll have, so we've got a few quotes here. So having my GCSE English and maths helped with my apprenticeship, as I didn't need to do the top-up course. I could start straight away. So that's one of our business administration apprentices. I won't read all of these out to you. Hopefully you can have a little read through whilst I'm talking, but essentially it just reflects back on how those GCSEs give you that grounding to do whatever you want in your career. And to be honest, most careers obviously snake around and don't ever go in a real straight line. Most people experience different things, but those GCSEs just open doors for you and obviously allow you to do whatever you want to do in the rest of your career. Just talk to you briefly, job interview schemes. So at ACC, we operate a guaranteed interview scheme commitment. So if you apply under a disability, veteran or care leaver scheme, you are automatically selected for a first stage of interview, as long as you meet the minimum requirements for the role. What's next? So all of our vacancies are always on the Working for Essex site, which you're more than welcome to visit. I've put on there our email address for the entry to work team, which is work.placements@essex.gov.uk if you think of any other questions. And you can always register your interest on our talent pool as well, which is the Essex Talent Community. So if you wanted to obviously have a look at any of our other vacancies or ask us any questions, then you can always reach out and get in touch. I think that's my 10 minutes up.
No, that's great. Perfect timing, Sarah. Thank you very much. That
Well,
was
you know,
really interesting.
I won't lie, Rachel. I obviously practiced that perfectly.
Yeah, that was absolutely spot on. Thank you very much, Sarah.
Excellent. Have a good day, everyone.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to pass over to my Anglia Ruskin colleague, Emily, and Emily is going to talk to you now about degree apprenticeships and the benefits of doing a degree apprenticeship.
Hi, yes, so I'm going to talk to you about degree apprenticeships. I work at Anglia Ruskin as an admissions officer, so I process applications for distance learning and degree apprenticeships. So let me just try and get my slide show up. So what does an apprenticeship do? What is a degree apprenticeship? So a degree apprenticeship is a combination of learning and working on the job. So the job aspect, you'll be gaining lots of practical skills while being employed, but at the same time you'll also have a large portion of your time that is dedicated to studying the skills that you'll need for your profession. There will be that portion of learning will be that will come from a combination of different practices. That will be online, in practice, and on campus. So it could be via Zoom, Microsoft Teams, anything like that. It can be in practice, which will be kind of on the job work, learning the hands-on skills that you might need. And then it can also be in a classroom on campus. And you'll kind of combine all of that academic knowledge and your experience from your workplace in order to develop your skills and your behaviour. So at the end of your apprenticeship, you'll gain a university qualification, so you'll earn your degree, as well as a professional qualification, so your apprenticeship as well. So there's a lot of benefits from going down the apprenticeship route. So your studies will be funded entirely by your employer, so you won't have to worry about student finance or getting into debt trying to pay for your fees. And you'll also be employed and be paid as a full employee for the duration of your apprenticeship. During your study, you'll develop a lot of job-specific skills, and you'll be working with a lot of experienced staff who want to see you succeed and will be able to give you the tools to excel in your profession. So as mentioned before, you'll have a lot of protected learning time, so around 20%, and you'll be able to develop the skills for the job that you want. So is the more benefits from apprenticeship is that it's very widely recognised and valued, especially in the workplace. You'll graduate with your degree and apprenticeship, and some even have additional statuses such as our chartered manager degree, our registered nurse. So with the registered nurse, that means you're fully qualified as a nurse, and you can work in NHS hospitals, private hospitals, anything that requires that qualification as well. And all of our degree apprenticeships have been really meticulously thought out. They're designed by a panel of employers, professional bodies and higher education institutions such as ourselves. And then they're approved by the government. So they've been designed specifically to try and give you the best shot at your desired job. So what are the entry requirements? So as it was mentioned before, maths and English are very important. So we're going to be looking for a grade 4 or above for both of those. It is a requirement for all all of our degree apprenticeships at degree level, that you have the grades grade 4 and above for that. A lot of apprenticeships will ask for 5 GCSEs in total. So you're going to need your maths and English and at least 3 others. And you're probably coming up to choosing your options. And the best bit of advice I can give you is choose something that you are really passionate about, because if you're enjoying the subject, you're going to be able to put more work into it. And that's what you need in order to succeed. As well as your maths and English, you're also going to need a level 3 qualification. So that will be A-level, BTECs, anything like that, equivalent to those qualifications. For some of our apprenticeships, you're going to need something that's related to what you're wanting to study. But for other apprenticeships, such as policing, we just require you have the A-level, 2 A-levels or equivalent, and they can be in any subject. So again, it's the same as your GCSE choices. You're going to want to choose something that you're interested in and that you are passionate about yourself. We do also offer a lot of master degrees as apprenticeships, and for this you'd need an undergraduate degree or equivalent qualification as well. Anglia Ruskin are probably one of the leading providers of degree apprenticeships at the moment. We've been offering them for a good few years, since 2017, and we've got a huge selection of routes that you can choose from. And we currently have 2,000 apprenticeships, and we're expanding every year, and we're introducing new courses all the time, so that is a rapidly growing number. We also work with 500 employers nationwide, and you'll probably recognise a lot of these, such as the NHS, BBC, BT, and Barclays. Probably some others that you recognise as well, but these are some of some of the partners that we can place our apprenticeships with to get their work experience. So these are So these are the kind of areas that we are currently offering our apprenticeships in. So we've got nursing and healthcare courses, business management, policing, digital data and technology, and the built environment. So we've got a huge selection for you, and that is, as I said, rapidly developing. So by the time it comes to you possibly looking at any of these courses, you're going to have a much bigger selection still. So here's a quote from one of our apprentices who was worried about their dyslexia holding them back, but it's a very flexible way of learning, and it offers a good opportunity for people that kind of want to get practical experience rather than kind of doing the entirety of their study in a classroom. So how do you become an apprentice? So first of all, you'll need to find a job with an employer who is willing to support your learning. We will then talk to that employer and kind of discuss the expectations that we have from them. So that will include what time you will need to kind of come to us for study, and what they will need to support you with for your academic side of the course. You then apply for the apprenticeship directly with us. So you fill out an online application and you put your employer's details down on that application form. And then it's just as simple as joining the university and beginning your learning journey. So this is a quote from our program delivery lead. So it says apprentices have a different mindset. They're focused on the application of what they learn. So this is kind of reinforcing what I've already said, that apprenticeships are a great way of taking your academic learning and putting that towards a practical applications of your job. So the police education apprenticeships is is a new course to us. It's one that I've been dealing with personally and processing applications for, and we've been getting lots of applications for them. So it's a very popular route. We have taken on partners from across the east and south coast of England, educating new police officers, and there's currently 2 different routes you can take into the policing apprenticeship. So we have a PCDA, which is for applicants who have just finished sixth form or college, and they have level 3 qualifications, so that will be A-level equivalents. And they then take a 3-year course and will qualify as a police officer at the end of that. And then we have a degree holder entry programme, which is for those that already hold a higher education degree, and that cuts their course down to 2 years instead of the 3. Like the other apprenticeships, it combines on-the-job learning with working towards a fully funded degree. Our partner forces at the moment include Bedfordshire, Cambridgeshire, Essex, Hertfordshire, Kent, the Metropolitan Police, Norfolk and Suffolk. So we've got quite a few forces on board, so we do get a lot of applicants coming through this route of becoming a police officer. So if you want to find any more information about becoming an apprentice with us, your best bet would be to find our website. So you can Google Anglia Ruskin University, or you can go straight to our webpage, which is aru.ac.uk, and there's a whole page dedicated to information about distance learning and degree apprenticeships.
Thank you very much. Are you done, Emily?
Yeah.
Lovely, thank you so much. Okay, I am going to share my screen again. Okay, brilliant. Okay, everyone, thank you very much for attending today's Eyes on the Prize event. I'm hoping that everybody's found that really useful. I know there's been some people speak that make me want to go to their organisation, so I'm hoping you feel the same and that you've found today's information really useful. So what I'd like you guys to do is to just take a couple of minutes, maybe in class, just to help us out with a little bit of feedback. So the link that I've put on the into the chat is teachers, if you could click on the link and it will take you through to a form. There's also a QR code up on the screen, so if it's easier and you've got a phone to hand, teaching staff, please do scan the QR code, and that will also take you through to the feedback form. So if you wouldn't mind just taking a couple of minutes now, we'll go till about just after 20 past. Then the post hasn't come through. There we go, hopefully it's come through now. If you could just take a couple of minutes just to fill in that feedback form for me, that would be really useful. Thank you very much, and I'll come back in a couple of seconds. Okay, hopefully you've had a chance to fill in that feedback form. And one of the things that I've kind of picked up from the event and that we talked about at the very beginning of the event was the importance of those GCSEs that you've got coming up. But there are lots of things that you can do to support yourself, to give you that. One of the things that Adrian said, which I really liked, is to come out of sixth form, college and secondary school as one of those people with choices. So you're armed with options and you're armed with choices. By doing well in your GCSEs, you then have the choice to go on to further education, sixth form, college, to do whatever it is that you choose to do. And then to do well there, you then give yourself the option and the choice to go on to higher education or degree apprenticeship or go into the working world. So I'm hoping that today has been useful for you. As I said, please do take the time to have a look at the booklet that your teachers will have shared with you. And if they haven't shared it with you, I'm sure they will do after the event. Now, we've recorded this event, so it's been recorded from start to finish, and we will make sure that we share the event with your teachers. So if there's any information either that you missed or that you would like to listen to again, then this event will be shared with them so that you're able to look back over the event itself. So all that's left for me to say now, we've finished slightly early, but all that's left for me to say now is thank you very much for attending. I'm going to leave our team's contact details up on the board because there are some really useful bits of information in there for you. But thank you very much for attending, and please feel free to leave. I will hang around here for the next few minutes until everybody's left the meeting, and then I will stop the recording. So classes, you are welcome to leave the event now. Thank you very much.